pretty sure that this is going to be the most controversial video on my channel. So gatekeepers, please be kind to me. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ash and I'm pretty average. And today we are going to be talking about a topic that I'm super passionate about and absolutely love, which is Star Wars. This will be part of a greater series called TaunTaun Talk, where I'm going to talk about all things Star Wars related. Working title. So if this series name happens to change at some point, that would be why. I have been a Star Wars fan probably since I was been about 12. I'm 23 now, so it's been about like a 10-year relationship with Star Wars. And I would say that I'm decently knowledgeable about the Star Wars universe in general. I would not claim to know absolutely everything, but I think I have like a solid understanding of Star Wars. I mean, like I have it tattooed on my body. So I would say that I have a decent knowledge and I'm like a very big fan. So a couple weekends ago, right before May 4th, my roommate and I watched all of the Star Wars movies in order, leading up to May 4th, and it got me thinking about what my ranking of the Star Wars movies would be. Now, personally, I think that I have a super controversial ranking of the Star Wars movies. I think that my least favorite and my most favorite are not controversial. I think everything in the middle, I wouldn't necessarily think aligns with how everybody else sees Star Wars. So today I'm going to be ranking them in the most selfish way possible. Now, I'm going to preface this with, none of this is about cinematic quality or how well done these movies were. This is purely selfish. I would say that the way I've ranked these movies really has to do about, if I was going to sit down right now and watch a Star Wars movie, what would be the most likely ones I would turn on? And I will give my explanation to why these movies are in the order that they're in about and absolutely love, which is Star Wars. I didn't like that. This will be part of a greater series called TaunTaun Talk, where I'm going to talk about all things Star Wars related. Working title. So if this series name happens to change at some point, that would be why. So I have been a Star Wars fan probably since I was been about 12. I'm 23 now, so it's been about like a 10-year relationship with Star Wars. And I would say that I'm decently knowledgeable about the Star Wars universe in general. I would not claim to know absolutely everything, but I think I have like a solid understanding of Star Wars. I mean, like I have it tattooed on my body. So I would say that I have a decent knowledge and I'm like a very big fan. So So a couple weekends ago, right before May 4th, my roommate and I watched all of the Star Wars movies in order, leading up to May 4th, and it got me thinking about what my ranking of the Star Wars movies would be. Now, personally, I think that I have a super controversial ranking of the Star Wars movies. I think that my least favorite and my most favorite are not controversial. I think everything in the middle, I wouldn't necessarily think aligns with how everybody else sees Star Wars. So today I'm going to be ranking them in the most selfish way possible. Now, I'm going to preface this with, none of this is about cinematic quality at all. Now, none of this is about cinematic quality or how well done these movies were. This is purely selfish. I would say that the way I've ranked these movies really has to do about, if I was going to sit down right now and watch a Star Wars movie, what would be the most likely ones I would turn on? And I will give my explanation to why these movies are in the order that they're in. So lastly, right before I get started, if you're coming on here just to be a gatekeeper, please don't. This is all just for a little bit of fun. I totally think that all Star Wars opinions are completely valid, and the fun part about Star Wars is being able to come up with your own opinions and your own theories, and everyone is so different. I think that's what makes the Star Wars community great, is that everyone has such different views and different opinions on what they think makes a community great and what they think makes Star Wars great. So if you're coming on here just to be a gatekeeper and say like, oh, she doesn't know enough about Star Wars, I don't know everything, and I think that's totally fine. I don't think you need to know everything to be a fan. I've watched all the movies, I've seen all of the shows many times. I like reading the books, so please don't come on here just to give me hate, because I will delete your comments. So we are gonna get started. I have my ranking on my phone. So we're gonna start with my least favorite and work my way up to my favorite. Once again, I don't think that my least favorite and most favorite are gonna be controversial. I think it's about numbers like 3 through 6 that I think are gonna be very controversial. Also, I'm only gonna be ranking the actual episodes. I'm not gonna be ranking Solo or Rogue One. So I'm just gonna be focusing on episodes 1 through 9. Also, I'm gonna preface with this is I like all of the Star Wars movies. If I'm giving something like a bottom ranking, it does not mean that I don't enjoy it. I like all of the movies, but there's some things that bother me about the movies that I just can't get past. So in 9th place, which I don't think is a big surprise because I feel like this is a lot of people's least favorite, is The Rise of Skywalker. I just found that this movie had so many places to go after The Last Jedi, and they just didn't. I was not a huge fan of Palpatine coming back. I felt like they had so many places they could have gone, and I feel like I was kind of done with the whole Palpatine storyline. I think it would have been really cool to have Kylo Ren as like actually the main villain. I wasn't a huge fan of Rey's family heritage. I don't think her being a Palpatine was bad, and I'm totally not against Rey Skywalker. I think it's fine, but I am such a hardcore fan theory believer that she should have been Rey Kenobi, because if she was Rey Kenobi, then the whole Corky Kenobi theory, which is my favorite fan theory, very much could have been canon. If you don't know the Corky Kenobi fan theory, please go look it up, because it is my favorite fan theory by far. So yeah, it wasn't my favorite. I thought it was okay. I liked the whole galaxy coming together to fight at the end, but overall, it was fine. It wasn't really my favorite, and I felt like they could have gone so many different directions, and they really just like cut out so many things that happened in The Last Jedi. So number 8, working my way up, is The Last Jedi. I feel like a lot of people really hate this movie, and I don't hate it by any means. I kind of feel like it doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie. There's something about the pacing of the movie and what happens in the movie that doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie whatsoever, but I don't think that makes it a terrible movie. I actually found the storyline to be quite interesting, but like once I start comparing it to other movies, I just don't think it measures up. I know a lot of people didn't like the direction that they took Luke Skywalker, but I don't particularly mind it that much. I kind of like the whole fall from grace side, and I really enjoyed seeing Rey's training a bit, since we got to see a little bit of Luke's training, and I kind of liked the parallel between them both. But I did find it a little boring that we kind of only got a couple of locations for this movie. Like a lot of the movie took place on the rebel ship that was evading the First Order, and we saw a little bit of Cantabite. So overall, it was just okay. I just felt like it didn't feel like a Star Wars movie at all, but I don't think it was terrible. So number 7, I have The Force Awakens. I definitely would say I think The Force Awakens is the best out of the sequel trilogy. I thought it was really cute, really funny. It had like a decent storyline. I loved getting to see Rey. I love Finn's storyline. But overall, and I think this is why the other 2 movies rank lower than it, they really started The Force Awakens with introducing these new characters, and then I felt like they didn't take them to where they could have taken them. Like I would have loved to see a Finn like Jedi arc. I think that could be really cool. I would have loved to have more of a developed relationship between Finn and Poe. So I think it was the best of the sequel trilogy, but I just think that there's so many movies that I love so much more than The Force Awakens. And it felt a little bit like a replica of A New Hope and just updated, which kind of bothers me a little bit, which is why it's so much farther down. I'm not a sequel hater by any means. I'm just like so much more into the original trilogy and the prequels than I am the sequels, and I feel like that kind of just comes with time. Like I feel like a lot of people hated the prequels for a long time and then kind of developed a nostalgic love for it, which I honestly feel like will happen with the sequels at some point, that like once they've aged for a long time that they'll gain a nostalgic quality to them. But yeah, for right now, the sequels are definitely my bottom 3. So just above The Force Awakens, which I think is going to be the start of the controversy, in ranking number 6, I have Revenge of the Sith. Now, to me, I know that cinematically, Revenge of the Sith is the best out of the prequel trilogy. However, it is definitely my least favorite. I think cinematically, this movie is super well done. The fighting sequences are amazing. The acting was really well done. But I find this movie so incredibly depressing that I can almost never get through it. I grew up kind of in the era of the Clone Wars. Like when I first got into Star Wars about age like 11, 12, that's when Star Wars The Clone Wars was out. And I love that show so much. And I feel like maybe I'm not the only person that finds that if you grew up with the Clone Wars and you really grew up like getting attached to like Ahsoka and Rex and seeing the relationship with Anakin and kind of getting to see more of like the Clone Wars era Anakin, when you go to watch Revenge of the Sith, it is so incredibly frustrating to watch because you've seen him like grow and develop throughout the Clone Wars, that you kind of just grow to love that character so much that anytime I go to watch Revenge of the Sith, I get so angry about how stupid everything plays out. Not stupid, but it's so frustrating to watch like his fall to the dark side that I find I can never watch it because I just watched that movie and I'm so sad. And this is also a selfish ranking. And to me, if the movie makes me sad, it is further down on the list. And I can almost never get through this movie. I love it. Like I love Star Wars, but it's so sad. Like I know a lot of people love this movie, but why do you like being sad? So right above Revenge of the Sith, which I also think is gonna be super controversial because you're gonna start figuring out what my top 3 is. In ranking number 5, I have Return of the Jedi. Now, based on this ranking, you can tell that there's some prequel movies that are above this movie. And hear me out, and I will explain why this is in this ranking. I love the original trilogy a lot, but definitely the original trilogy, Return of the Jedi, is in the bottom for me. And a lot of it has to do with the pacing of this movie. I find that all of the other Star Wars movies do a really good job of making one cohesive storyline. And to me, this movie feels so disjointed to me. We finish Empire Strikes Back with Han being encased in carbonite, Luke loses his hand, Lando's going to see if he can find Han, and then we kind of just jump into Jabba's palace. And I do love this whole kind of Jabba palace like arc within this movie, but it feels so disjointed from the rest of the movie that like if this movie was a video game, like the Jabba palace side almost feels like a side quest, if that makes sense. Like we do all of this stuff at Jabba's palace, we rescue Han, and then we jump right back into the rebellion, and it just feels like it doesn't have as much of a flow to it as the rest of the movies do. So I don't find myself turning on this movie as much as I do other movies, because it almost feels like we have Jabba's palace, we have a little side quest at Dagobah, we go back to the rebellion, and then we kind of have the ending with like Luke and the Emperor Darth Vader. And I know that like to a lot of people you're like, well, it's a movie and it's going to have different sections to it, but to me this movie just doesn't flow as much as the other movies do, especially with the whole Jabba's palace part. And like I do really love that section of the movie, but for some reason the movie feels so choppy to me compared to A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, where I find that the storyline like very naturally evolves much better than this movie does. but like I do still love it. I love all of the Ewoks. I love the like Fall of the Empire score at the end. It's so good. But yeah, it's not my favorite compared to what my top 5 are. So, in spot number 4, which I still think is going to be controversial, my top 5 I think are going to be very controversial. Not my top movie, but I think rankings 2 through 5 are very controversial. So in ranking number 4, I have A New Hope. I adore A New Hope. I think it's a great movie. It started a saga. I love little baby Luke Skywalker. I love getting to see all new characters, and like this movie completely started the era. And I don't really have anything negative to say about A New Hope, to be completely honest. I don't really have much negative things to say about my top 4 at all. It's just compared to the other movies in my top 3, I still would turn on my top 3 more than I would turn on this movie. And that's kind of where this ranking is coming from, because this is a selfish ranking. This is my top. So if you're like, oh, this ranking doesn't make sense. Well, yeah, it's not your ranking. It's mine. So yeah, I don't really have anything negative to say about this movie. I really love it. There's some really iconic lines from this movie, like, it's not the droids you're looking for, and you know, gotta go to Tashi Station to pick up those power converters. But yeah, I think it's like a totally solid movie, and I don't really have anything negative to say about it, but I just have more positive things to say about my top 3. So very controversially, in 3rd place, I have The Phantom Menace. And I know that a lot of people really hate on the sequels, and I don't think by any means that episodes 1 and 2 are cinematic masterpieces by any means. However, I think that The Phantom Menace is such a cute little fun watch. If I'm feeling sad, I will throw on The Phantom Menace. I absolutely love Qui-Gon Jinn. I love seeing young Obi-Wan because I adore Obi-Wan Kenobi. I adore Maul. Maul is up there in one of my favorite like dark-sided characters, and I just love his arc, especially if you've seen like the Clone Wars or Star Wars Rebels. I love seeing Maul's storylines, so it's really fun because this is really like one of the only times we see him in live action. Like this is the first time we see him in live action, and that whole battle scene and like the score when like the door opens and Maul is just there is so good. I think baby Anakin is so awkward and so funny, and like all the pod racing scene is just, it's just funny to me. Like, it's just a fun watch. I don't think cinematically it's the best. I don't think the acting is the best in the movie by far. That is not why it's up here. I just think that like it has such a nostalgic value to me that I just absolutely love watching it. In 2nd place, we have Attack of the Clones. Now, I think out of the prequel trilogy, this is obviously my favorite, but I also think that the acting is probably the worst in this movie. But cringy teenage Anakin Skywalker is so funny to me. Like, I crack up every time I see this movie. Like, I don't like sand is, oh, it's just so funny. Padme's outfits are the best in this movie. The lake dress outfit, absolutely iconic. Favorite Padme outfit by far. I love seeing Obi-Wan with a mullet. Love seeing Jango and Boba Fett. First time we get to see the clones. The entire ending once they get to Geonosis with the droid factory scene and the whole like ending battle with the droids is so good. First time we get to see Count Dooku live action. There's just so many like fun things I feel like that happen in this movie, and I know the acting is not great in this movie, but if I'm ever gonna turn on a Star Wars movie just for the fun of it, is going to be this movie. It makes me so happy to watch this movie, and I feel like that's a lot about what Star Wars is about, is making people happy and bringing people joy. And if watching a dumb 19-year-old say his cringy lines makes me happy, then I think that that's totally fine. And also it leads us up to the Clone Wars, and I absolutely love the Clone Wars. That show's amazing, so I like kind of seeing the progression of it leading up to where we know the Clone Wars start. So yeah, definitely not everyone's favorite. Like, and I can totally see why people would not like this movie. But I just love it. Like, I like the prequels. I'm sorry. I know that's super controversial, especially because I have Attack of the Clones and The Phantom Menace above some of the original trilogy, which I know, like, the Gatekeepers will battle me on, but I feel like everyone likes Star Wars for different reasons, and I'm not really into Star Wars for like bringing me joy and making me happy and brightening up my day, and that's what the prequels do for me, except for Revenge of the Sith. That movie is so sad. So, in the #1 spot, which I think is probably the least controversial opinion I have because this is a lot of people's favorites, is The Empire Strikes Back. This movie is chef's kiss perfection. It is absolutely everything I love about Star Wars. The pacing is amazing in it. The acting is great in it. The outfits are great in it. Cinematically, this is a fantastic movie from beginning to end. I love the planets we get to visit in this movie. I absolutely love all the beginning scenes on Hoth. I love the TaunTauns so much, hence, you know, TaunTaun talk, which is kind of where the name of this, where the series came from, because Empire Strikes Back is by far my favorite Star Wars movie. And I really love the way that they take Luke's storyline throughout this movie, where you see him and he's so arrogant at the beginning for someone who knows so little about the Force, and like getting to see him really struggle, and like a lot of this movie is about him struggling and like leading into Return of the Jedi, where he really like develops as a character. But I feel like his struggle in this movie and like seeing him work through that is so cool to see. We have the most like iconic line in cinema history with like "I am your father" from Darth Vader, which is so cool to see. And it's so well done. I love everything on Bespin, and I really enjoy getting to see Han and Leia's relationship develop, since we kind of got it hinted at a little bit in A New Hope, but we like really got to see them like kind of develop into their own. And I feel like we saw a lot of character development from them, since we were kind of separated from Luke Skywalker for the vast majority of this film. We really kind of got to see these characters all work through their own problems, which is just fantastic. Like, this movie is so good, and it encapsulates everything I love about Star Wars. So I'm going to quickly run through my ranking one more time, just in case people don't remember. So best to worst, we have first place, we have Empire Strikes Back, Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace, A New Hope, Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Sith, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker. Now, if after watching this ranking, you're very angry about it, please don't take your anger out on me in the comments. I'm totally open to constructive criticism, and you know what, you may be able to change my mind on some of these rankings. And I totally think it's fine to have an open discussion, but if you're just going to comment down below to say that I'm a dumb girl that knows nothing about Star Wars, I will delete your comments, because it's not constructive and it's not fun. But I'm totally open to talk about anything Star Wars, and I'm really excited for the TaunTaun Talk series to go forward. I have many more Star Wars videos coming, which I'm really excited about. Sometimes they'll be sit-down videos, and sometimes they'll be more getting up and doing things. I might have some like book reviews, just because I love reading the Star Wars books. I might do another ranking video with Clone Wars arcs if anybody's interested. But yeah, I'm excited to see where this series goes, but I figured this would be a good place to start, just so we can kind of see where I'm starting at. But yeah, there'll definitely be some more like Clone Wars and Rebels content coming, because I absolutely love those shows. Like, I have like a fulcrum tattoo because I love Ahsoka Tano, and I also love Star Wars Rebels. Rebels is one of my favorite Star Wars shows. So I think that's everything I have to say about Star Wars today. If you liked me and this video, you can give this video a thumbs up, and you can subscribe down below. If you want to follow me anywhere else, my Instagram is @PrettyAverageAsh, same way it's spelled here. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day and stay happy.